Hey Rod, how are you?
I'm well, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great, thank you. And it's such a pleasure to be able to speak to you. I really enjoyed this film, and I guess I got to start with Dolly, the mask, the costume. You're adding to this pantheon of kind of iconic horror characters. So, what was it like coming up with the creation and the design for her in this film?
Well, Dolly was born out of a mix of disparate influences between myself and my writing partner Brendan Weevil. I mean, Tourist Trap, Halloween, Leatherface, Child's Play, Shirley Temple Dolls. Actually, I was talking about this earlier, and I said it out loud, and I forgot to say the rest of it. I knew somebody growing up who had a Shirley Temple doll that was like cracked and disfigured like this, and you see something like that as a kid, and your imagination runs wild, right? A case in point is like I have a 4-year-old and a 9-year-old, two little girls, the oldest of who's in the film, but the 4-year-old came home from school yesterday. She knows that Dolly is not real, right? Like she knows that it's just a mask that's in our, it's actually in my basement. There was a mannequin built. And she asked us to close her bedroom door last night because there's a poster and there's one over here. It's red. You can barely see it because it's out of focus. But like in her mind, she's going, oh, that thing might be human, right? Or might come alive. And you're also going, but it can't because it's inanimate or it's a design. And I think that like Dolly as a manifestation is a representation of fears and nightmare fuel that our protagonist doesn't want to have to navigate. And so, you're not going into it thinking, oh, I'm trying to make something that could one day be iconic. I'm working with something narratively that feels like the right way to have an opposing force to what our protagonist is experiencing and going through. If it becomes iconic, and that would be incredible. I would be very grateful.
Yeah, for sure. That's fascinating. And I'm guessing that casting someone like Maxie and Paler and building the character around them, that must have factored into how Dolly evolved as well.
Well, so Dolly is now, I mean, Maxie Impaler, they're, so, I mean, obviously Maxie Impaler is not Dolly. And Maxie Impaler is also a character I'm sorry, Max, if I'm blowing your cover and you're watching this, but like Max is also an incredible person beneath the Max the Impaler persona, right? We all play parts, right? And we play parts for different reasons, right? And some of those roles we play are relative to what we like and see and love. And Max, when I approached Max, said their lifelong dream had been to be a villain in a horror movie. And that they were beginning to wonder if they would ever have the chance to realize that dream. And they're the heel as a wrestler, right? Like, which I clearly, and like at that moment, it felt like fate, right? Because we had been looking for a gifted physical performer who could do so much without words. But Max elevates it beyond what I could ask for, right? Because they're bringing their own lived experience, their own relationship to the genre, their own love of story, their own, like, they're doing so much more than I can. I mean, that's why I'm not Max. That's why I'm not Dolly, right? Like, I'm not because I'm not that person. But Max is. And now Dolly is Max, or like they are one and the same for people going forward. And Dolly is remarkable in this movie as a character because of Max. And I hope that people go, holy shit, like this is hard. And they see it and they see Max because Max deserves to be seen.
Yeah, they really do deliver such an interesting performance, particularly obviously physically. And Seann William Scott as well, obviously an actor. Many people will think of comedies when they think of him, but I'd love to know what made him right for this role, particularly as you really put him. I don't want to spoil anything, but you really put him through the ringer in this one, I think is fair to say.
Well, what makes Sean right is that he's your friend who you've talked about making many different movies with, and none of them have come together. And your friends show up for you when you beg them to come to the woods and crawl through poison ivy and ticks. And I mean that's what friends are for, I guess. I think Sean and I just got along when we first met, and he liked I don't know, the reasons why I was doing what I was doing or what I was trying to do. I mean, we're both dads. I don't know what it is exactly for him, but you know, we certainly underpaid him and Ethan Suplee and Fabian and like all these people deserve so much more. And in time, that will be the case with Dolly and the Dolly franchise for sure. Like, you know, what's the there's like if you have my axe, or like, come ride with me at dawn and you'll have my axe forever, right? And I think we're at that point as filmmakers and artists that we're like, well, you build a tribe and you just go forward with that tribe. And so Sean has many other things other than all the comedic roles he's had to do, and now he gets to be a man who's looking for his face.
Yeah, it's a
So,
brilliant, that's a brilliant role. And you mentioned franchise there. Have you given a lot of thought to the kind of mythology that will surround Dolly, whether it be obviously background, future? Have you kind of mapped that out, even even if it's just yourself for now?
oh well, there's all these breadcrumbs in the film. In
Yeah.
fact, in 2021, before we ever filmed the proof of concept that was called Baby Girl, because it was originally called Baby Girl, we had written all this. We had written at that point we'd written a trilogy. Um, and that was always the intention, was to scale, right? Well, when you're making movies on your own with no institutional support and you have to find all of your own money, you go, well, we'll start with the thing we can make. Well, what's more affordable than the woods during the day, three locations, and a couple of actors? And you have to start there. And you go, but if you don't know what story it is that you're telling and who these people are, you'll get that wrong, right? Like you won't be able to, it won't ever add up, right? And there isn't any long, but I also don't know a way to be a filmmaker other than to have this long-term thinking, right? To have this, like, there is a reason why we're doing everything we're doing, and I have hopes and dreams. I mean, that's just to me storytelling 101. So we've known from moment one, there are all these breadcrumbs that even from the first words that pop up on screen, all the way through, different characters that reveal themselves, relationships, dynamics that unfold, like the way power works in the film, the way the power dichotomy changes at various times, all the way even through what people are saying in the end credits. Like there's stuff going on in the credits of the film. Like it's all there, but I can only do so much with the time and money I have. So I do what I can and just go, stick with me. There'll be so much more. People have asked endlessly, and a lot of people have detected this. And I say, well, come with me. Like we will go many places together with Dolly.
Yeah, but it definitely left me wanting more. And I'm a big horror fan, and I'm a sucker for gore, the blood and the kind of the things that make you wince. And there's plenty of that in this film. So did you decide early on that you really wanted to go down that route with this one and make people kind of squeal in their seats, if you like?
Well, I think that like the violence and the brutality in this film is the result of two characters, two opposing forces who are trying to navigate a situation where they both want something entirely differently, right? And I think that you can understand that that's sort of the response. You have a character, like you have two characters, different experiences, different things that have crafted and shaped them and brought them to this confluence, where one is facing motherhood and doesn't want to be, and one who's just lost their mother and has a hole in their heart and is trying to fill it. And you go, well, everything else that happens after that is relative to those points of view. And it is people trying to, or two characters trying to solve that collision. And it is, it is big and crazy and twisted and weird because that's also what nightmares are, and the way that like your worst thing, the worst thing realized functions for you, right? It's like, it's the worst possible version of that, and then how do you navigate that? So I think that like it wasn't going, well, we want to be twisted and messed up for the sake of that, right? There's true intentionality there.
Oh, definitely. And I can only imagine you must have had such a blast with all those prosthetics you were working for and the blood. It must be like being a kid again.
Well, that's what, yeah, I'm 45. I wanted to make this movie for a long, or a movie like this for a long time. I should have probably done it years ago, but I, I'm glad that I did it now, right? I mean, that's what, when you first get your first video camera, you're just figuring out how to recreate the movies that you like and the weird things that you like, and you're doing it in a really bad way. Well, now I can do it with incredible collaborators who can do it better than I could ever do on my own, and it becomes real. And then you go, holy smokes, like we did that. Like we made that thing happen. Well, I didn't make it. I mean, in this case, our incredible special effects team or our, cinematographer, or our composer did it. But yeah, it's the best to be able to do things in a tactile way where you can see it, you can feel it, everybody else can feel it. The behind the scene footage is awesome. When people, when a whole cast and crew watch something happen, they get to react to it. It's not going to just happen later in special effects or in VFX, right? Like there you are on set cheering, right? Like, because it's a release. You go, holy shit, we just did it. I watched it happen. Like, it's the best.
Awesome. Well, Rod, thank you so much for your time. I had so much fun watching this movie, and I think people are going to love it. I know the response has been great so far. So awesome speaking to you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Josh. I really appreciate it. I'm very grateful for your time, truly. Everyone's time.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. Have a great day.
Also, I'm just eating peanuts because I'm hungry. I feel bad.
No, not at all. Great meeting you. Thanks so much, Rod.
Likewise, likewise. Yeah, be well.